I target business owners who can pay me for my products. I typed that into LinkedIn the other day. I target wealthy business owners who can pay me for my services. And look, I really didn't have a lot of luck. And oh, wait, sorry, there are people.
It's still not the same.
Hey there, expert. Rana Saini here. See, the wealthiest business coaches and consultants see business success as the system. This podcast, The Expert Advantage, contains real-world, in-the-trenches business advice that our clients use to gain a strategic advantage in growing their million-dollar expert business. It's my hope that you use these short lessons and insights to gain your strategic advantage in growing your expert business, and maybe one day soon partner with us at The Expert Project to take your expert coaching and consulting business to $1 million and beyond. I hope you share and enjoy.
I want you to imagine for a second that you lost it all. So imagine that you lost your laptop, you lost your contacts, you lost that big pile of business cards on your desk, you lost your mobile phone, and you had to start your business again. What would you do? Now, this was a topic that came up recently when I was speaking to Rana Saini of the Influencer Project. And we were talking about what would you do if you needed to start again and perhaps quickly add an extra $8,000, $12,000 to your revenue in any given month. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, having a very casual fly on the wall conversation about where you would begin, also using the power of notability and writing some notes. Rana, how you doing, mate?
Mate, good to jam on this, mate, and looking forward to the conversation.
So the people that don't know Rana, he's the founder of the Influencer Project. You've probably seen him in your feed over the last 8 years. He knows more about LinkedIn marketing than just about anyone else on the planet. And just as a fun fact, Rana was once a Bollywood star.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How did you become a Bollywood star briefly?
Firstly, anyone that is a LinkedIn marketing expert that isn't a Bollywood star, can you really, do they really know LinkedIn? That's the first thing. Second thing is, I studied from a young age. I was pretty shy. And so, long story short, I had parents who just wanted to make sure that I didn't enter the world massively introverted and not being able to hold a conversation. So I did a lot of public speaking, and which led me to acting school. And I did some acting and passed, which was fantastic. Had a great time, learned a lot about performing, presenting. And one of the things I thought, which would be like low-hanging fruit, you talk about it in business, who's your perfect future customer? Well, for us, it's like I look at it and went, what's the ultimate thing that I've got that no one else has? And that's like I'm half Indian. So I was like, what opportunities could there be for me if I went to India and tried to look for acting there? And I thought it was a pretty smart idea. I traveled and did auditions in India for a year and got absolutely nowhere. So most people, like in business, they try for a bit and quit. But I kept going, and it was funny. I left, I came back home, and when I got home, I opened up my inbox, and there was an offer from one of the guys that I had done an audition for, and he said to me, if you could shoot a reel, here's what I want, send it back to us. We are interested in casting you for one of our roles. Now, it was a main role. I didn't know it was going to be a main role. I shot the video, did the reel, sent it over, and he said, we'd love to cast you in the film as the lead. And I've just gone, this guy, this has to be one of those Nigerian prince scams, like he just won $1 million. But it turns out it was legit. And to add more fun to it, when I got there, because he said you're going to be what's called an NRI in the film, so a non-resident Indian role, which means you can speak English. And the story was really cool. So I was a guy who came back from overseas to see his family, so it fit perfectly. But when I got there, he let me know that they'd had a change and that I'd have to speak fluently in Indian, like in an Indian dialect that I'd never spoken before in my life. So wow. I had 6 weeks to learn the script in another language, and I was able to do it purely because of the training that I had. So phonetically learn how to do everything. And mate, it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I wouldn't say that I'd love to be an actor in India, which is why I didn't continue, but it was phenomenal.
What I think is amazing about that too is right from the outset is your parents were worried that you'd be shy. And that clearly thrust you into a very, very uncomfortable situation. And I know from experience that I've been in lots of situations that have been uncomfortable in business and outside of business, but I know that every single one of those things makes me stronger, also makes me feel a little bit more bulletproof the next time something comes out of left field. Now, speaking of left field, we opened up with this idea of what you would do if you had to start again. And we've even thrown down a number. I think we talked about what we would do if we needed to add an extra $8,000 to $12,000 to your business in any given month. Now, even if you've got an established business, the things that we're going to be talking about could be ways to add more revenue to your existing business. So if you're doing $10K a month, let's lift it to $18K to $22K. If you're doing $50K a month, let's lift it to 58 or 70 or 80 and beyond. By thinking in a slightly different way, what would we do if we had to start from scratch? Over to you, Rainer. What would you do? Where would you start?
Yeah. So I think what happens in the world of business is that a lot of experts, so we work primarily with experts, expert business coaches, business consultants, and what they do is they trade their expertise and their experience for money to solve problems for people. And ultimately what they do is they build a business around themselves. And so I always look at business in kind of their 3 ways that business works. What I'll do is I'll share my screen. You just make me co-host or however it works.
Absolutely.
There we go. And awesome. And what I'll do is I'll share my whole screen because I want to take you guys into, can you see that?
Yeah, definitely. It looks great.
Okay, perfect. Okay, you've got, I should see a big shiny triangle. So what I look at is in business, really, it's made up of a couple of things, right? First thing, it's made up of what we call our perfect future customers. Now, in my world, I just look at who are the people that would most likely buy from me. And ultimately, what we want to do, and with your software that you sell, B2B Dash, ultimately, you want to build a database of perfect future customers. There's no point being connected to your peers like, Aunt Flo or your mum who will support you, but they're not going to buy from you. And so when we talk about LinkedIn is the world's largest business database. So ultimately, if you could just target 1,000 of your perfect future customers, just 1,000, and we took that number, how long could that take you? Now, with the tools available these days, you could collect the database on LinkedIn and off LinkedIn relatively quickly. That will enable you to have conversations now with people that you wouldn't normally have been able to have conversations with. And that's the next part of what we call engage. So ultimately, it's how do we just engage with people in a conversational way, much like we're having now, James. Now, before we had a conversation, I wasn't aware of what you really did, and you weren't aware of what I did. But the first step of any kind of commercial transaction, whether it be time or money, is an interaction and a conversation. So we have to engage with someone and know who we are and what we do well enough so that we can position ourselves profitably from the start. And the last part is then we need to actually find a way to enroll a client, which is to have someone see enough value in you that they exchange money for your services. Now, whilst all this sounds rudimentary and everyone's like, well, that's a no-brainer, I see a lot of people stuff this up because the first thing that people do is they don't have a very good business model. And if I look at why people don't make money in business, is because they stuff up the first thing, right? First thing is pricing. They underprice because they fundamentally believe if I make it cheaper, more people will buy faster. And that is incorrect. As you know, I've been selling tickets for seminars for $47 and I've sold $47,000 consulting gigs. And the gap and the intensity at which you have to sell is probably marginal, which is ridiculous, right? Because if you're targeting the right people, those people are happy to spend the money if they see the value in what you do, which is why your model is really important from how you price. And the last part is the process that you use to help someone get the outcome that they want. Is it a simple process? Is it an effective process? Are you clear on the process? And ultimately, as we all know, is it a one-to-one? Is it a one-to-many? How do you handle and deliver your product, your service to clients? And once you're clear on your model, most people get their offer from that, which dials into marketing, right? Marketing is really about what is the offer that you're making? What's the question you're asking your audience to have them say, yeah, I'm interested. Yes, I'd like that. Yes, I'd like to know more. Yeah, how can we continue the conversation? If you don't know what it is that you do, or you can't describe it clearly and succinctly fast, what people do, if you're not clear, they're not confident. And that comes through with how you make an offer. No one wants to do business with someone who struggles to articulate the value at which they do, because that struggle comes across as, well, this person obviously hasn't got a very good product, or they haven't got a very good service. So we want to make sure that we have a good offer, and we dial those two things in first. How do you get people the result that they pay you for? How do you ask people whether they're interested in an engaging way? And the last part that a lot of people like, this is where people, I think, lose it. They go, I need more leads. But ultimately, it's about money. And the last part is, how do you have a conversation around sales, which is an exchange or a collaboration to help someone go from where they are now to where they want to be? And your process, your model is the bridge between. So the way I look at that, you go, well, if you were to start again, I get very clear on those three things. How can I help someone get a result as quickly as possible? Right.
And let's pause here as well, like right back to the beginning. So we started off with a target audience. Now, we have a game in our world that we play, Rana, and we call it the Doctor on the Plane test, and it ties directly with LinkedIn. And what we do is we say, if our clients can pass the Doctor on the Plane test, they can find their people on LinkedIn. And it goes like this. If I jumped on a plane and I said, is there a doctor on the plane? All the doctors put their hands up, but the doctor of philosophy does not. But if I jump on the plane and I say, hey, is anyone excited by health and wellness? People just look at each other funny. Now, the great thing about LinkedIn is that you can say, I want to target allied health professionals with 20 plus staff living in the, whatever region. And I can call them out. I can call them out in such a way. What do we do here? Let's throw in, what are you going to put? Let's throw in copywriters. So let's throw in copywriters, and then copywriter, and then a type of business can be self-employed, is probably somewhere in there. The function will be the boss. So they could be a copywriter and they're also the boss. All sorts of crazy things you can do here. Yeah. And if you can call them out in such a way, are you this audience? LinkedIn can find them for you. The mistake that see people is they say, I target heart-centered business owners with a passion for empowering the youth.
Or I target wealthy business owners. Yeah. I target business owners who can pay me for my products. I typed that into LinkedIn the other day. I target wealthy business owners who can pay me for my services. And look, I really didn't have a lot of luck. And sorry, there are people.
It's still not the same.
Yeah. And look at that. You look at what you said there, James. There's 9,500 people who are copywriters, owners, directors, self-employed, or have 1 to 10 staff.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, well, there's some people there. They're starting to add a lot of cool stuff at the moment. But geography-wise, we might just go, look, are they in North America or are they in Australia? For argument's sake, if we go Australia, I look at that and I'm like, well, cool. There's probably, let's have a look. There's 333 results. Pretty niche, probably a little too niche. But for now, if we were to look at United States as well, depending on, because we work with clients in the United States, I'm pretty sure you guys would as well. It brings up to probably a healthy 3,000 people. So,
but even 300 for a lot of people is a great way to be. I mean, I know that you wrote 1,000, and that's probably the magic number. It's not too overwhelming. It's not too small. But if there's 1,000 people and they pass the Doctor on the Plane test, that basically means that LinkedIn can find them for you, because it's unambiguous. It's totally unambiguous. You say, are you a copywriter? and you run your own business, copywriter, self-employed, people don't go, oh, maybe. No, they are or they aren't.
Yeah, not sure. Not sure.
Yeah, not sure.
And
then if you relate that to the other bits on the screen, life becomes a little bit easier too.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like if I was to start again, it's like, what are the absolute essentials, what we call minimum viable marketing that drives the outcomes that we want? And if I look at it, it's who do you target, what do you offer them, and how do you help them? If you can answer those three questions, you have a business opportunity there. And the ultimate outcome is how can you make each one of those, the answers to those questions clearer and more succinct over time, right? Because often people start with, big explanations. But ultimately, the way we look at it is success is a system. If people aren't making $8,000 or $10,000 a month, it's because the algorithm of their business is out of whack. It's not allowing them to do it because something's broken. And, the thing that people miss, James, and the thing that people miss as you're listening is to understand that right now, what is the goal for you? Like if I look at right now, what's the money that you would like to make in your business? And you said to me, Ryan, I want 10K a month. That's my goal. That would make life a lot easier. If I had an extra 10K a month recurring in my business, that would replace my job wage that I'm getting at the moment. And I go full-time into this thing called business coaching or business consulting. And James, as we were talking before, even if you wanted to add an extra $10,000 a month, adding an extra $10,000 a month, no one's going to say, no, that's not enough, right? It's a number that you can go, that's pretty good.
It's doable. It's definitely, particularly selling knowledge and expertise, where a client would typically, they'd be very likely to be worth less than $3,000. If you're selling knowledge, expertise, skills, a client in any given month. I mean, there are maybe sort of like coaching where it might be like $900 to $1,200 a month, but a client is usually not going to be worth less than $3,000.
Hey there, expert. So listen, our mission here at the Expert Project is to positively impact the world of other business coaches and consultants just like you. We want to help them make more impact, have more income, and have a positive influence on the world. And see, the only way we can do that is if you've heard something in today's episode that moved you, created an insight, changed your perspective, or gave you an aha moment. All I'd ask you to do is take 10 seconds, rate and review this podcast so together we can help spread the word about this podcast and have a positive influence in someone else's world.
This is where people's businesses are broken, right? When we run this test, we find out people's businesses are really broken or that we can see gaps really clearly. Like if I said, this is where you are now, where do you want to be in 90 days, right? Even if I just look at 90 days, and they might be zero, they might be what we call startup, they might be set up, so they might be making no money, you might be making some money, but let's just say that right now, how much are you doing per month? If 10K is your goal, and you might say, I'm doing 2K per month. That's what I'm doing at the moment. You might have one client, right? Or two clients paying $1,000 a month. And you look at the gap in between, you say, right now there's an 8K gap. So if it's zero, there's a 10K gap. For the sake of this, let's just say that there's an 8K gap. And you're like, okay, so you got 90 days to make that difference up. And when you look at it and you go, what is your average dollar sale? So most people can't even answer that question, what your average dollar sale is. And I look at it and I go, well, if I have a product that's worth $1,000 a month, your average dollar sale is $12,000. You just get paid per month, right? So what you want to do is take the average dollar sale for how much people pay in total, the total amount, this is what most people miss, divided by the delivery time. And that gives you your magic number per month. Because people say, well, I don't have a recurring product. I just charge people $10,000. You say $10,000 over how much time? They say 3 months. You go, so really you've got a $3,333.33 per month product. And people go, oh yeah, I guess I do. And you're like, yeah. And you've also got an opportunity after that 3 months to sell something cheaper. So you could say, well, listen, now we've got this next product. Would you like to buy it? It's $1,500 a month. And in their minds, there's a discount. But most people can't understand that pricing is the key algorithm to scale. So you go, at the moment, let's just take that, for example, and say that I sell a $4,000 product, say a $3,000 product, and it's over 3 months. So I have a $3,000 product. I have a 1K monthly reoccurring product, therefore. And so I look at that and I go, how many clients do I need to get in 90 days? Well, at 1,000 per month reoccurring, I need to get the difference between it, 8 clients. So the question I would ask people is, do you believe it's possible that you have a system and a strategy right now that you could acquire 8 clients in the next 90 days? So it's less than 3 clients. What's that? Less than 3 clients a month. It's like you had a good month, you got 3, 3, 2. Could you do that? If I was able to put 1,000 people in front of you, I was literally able to give you an offer that had people say yes, which is what we call a lead. I helped you qualify that lead. So you know that, let's just say 50% of those people say yes now, and 50% of those people say no, not now. So you put them back into your marketing engine. That's a conversation for another day. And then we take those people, let's just say there's 1,000. We want to talk about 1,000. 10% of those people is 100. There's 50 leads over a 90-day period, 50 leads that you get at your average conversion rate. Most people convert. Everyone thinks they convert more than they actually do. So let's just put a number on it and go, let's just say it's 10%. Like 10% is your conversion rate. There's 5 clients in 90 days. Now, is that 8? No, it's not. Sorry, it just died, but I'll bring it back. It's not. But the moral to the story here, James, is that people underestimate how fast and easy it is to grow business when you have the basics dialed in.
Yeah.
Now I look at that and go, 5 clients in 90 days, that's at $1,000. If you had a program that was $1,500, if we could just help you increase your price by $500 a month, you hit your goal. That's the algorithm that we need to dial in. So the question would be, if I could give you 1,000 perfect future customers and a great offer that would get people to say yes, could you have a conversation to help them see the value in what you do and how you could help them? So much so that they say, let's do something together.
What I also love about this is that I get people to come into our world and, we started off with the premise like you were starting brand new, but I had a conversation with someone not so long ago and they were working for a bank and they wanted to start their own business. And it was a business in the personal finance, money management space. And I said, how much is a client worth? And they said, $2,500. Oh no. And I said, when would you be comfortable quitting your job? And they said, I'm turning over 250K. I was like, okay, that's when you'd be comfortable quitting your job. How much is a client worth? He said, 2,500. And I was like, so you've got to get 100 clients before you quit your day job. How's that going to work?
Correct. Yeah.
And when that little piece in the middle of the puzzle there, and do bring it back up. I was loving what I was saying.
Yep.
That little piece in the middle of the puzzle there, this is like this reality check. It's this reality check for most human beings. And if it doesn't stack up, so in this guy's particular instance, he was never going to get there because he wasn't going to be able to handle that volume to get the outcome that he wanted. If we're looking at, we've got a target audience, and I just threw down the idea of copywriters, but I mean, like I was on the phone to someone earlier today and their target audience was CTOs, chief technology officers, super doctor on the plane desk. I can find those people really, really fast, the whole bit. If we've got that target audience clarity, Rana's got this model here where at the bottom and to the left, it talks about the model and it talks about the offer, which means that if I look at my audience, say it's a copywriter or it's a CTO, I can immediately go, what are the outcomes that they care about the most? And what are the outcomes that they are most likely to pay the most for? Because I see people pitching whatever it is that they do, either to the wrong audience, which doesn't have enough money, or an audience that does have enough money but doesn't get the outcome that they're looking for. Whereas if there's these audiences where you can understand this audience has the money, and if I match what I do with the outcome that they want, they're going to get an explosive result. And then suddenly this little metric here where Rana went, well, you only need 5 clients. Someone might be looking at that, doing the numbers themselves and going, well, actually, I'll need 15 clients. At which point Rana or myself would say, well, perhaps you should look at the target audience and the offer that you have, because they're not structured in a way where you can demand the premium amount.
Yeah, it's like you're saying before, you can have the right audience and the wrong offer, or you can have the right offer and the wrong audience, both equal the same result, which is no opportunity. And so I think what the alchemy of business is marketing is testing. Business is not a home run. Business is about swinging singles, and it's about optimizing the average to create outcomes that most people give up on. And so if you can help, like I say this to clients, our goal is very simple. We want to take a connection, we want to turn that connection into a conversation, and then we want to turn that conversation into a client. We want to help you around those things. We just want to do that at least 3 to 5 of those in the first 90 days. And if in the first 90 days, we can help you take a connection on LinkedIn, have a conversation with them because they're interested in what you do, and assist you with a system that converts them, then you've got something that is exponentially valuable because it doesn't rely on a Facebook ad. It doesn't rely on a YouTube ad. It doesn't rely on anything other than your own LinkedIn profile. And as we said before, you probably want a CRM, right? So, you might have something for people there, James. But like I look at it and I think all you've got, if you have a really good database, right? LinkedIn is the world's largest business database. If you've got a great database, all you need is a good offer. And if you've got a good offer, then you'll always have an opportunity pipeline and the possibility and the potential to create whatever it is that you want, which is why business is the most transformational vehicle to freedom, I think, is available. It requires grit, resilience, and determination. But what it really requires is a damn system. And most people, systems ain't sexy. So what most people do is they try to compare their chapter 1 in business with someone else's chapter 23. Like I've got to pay $10,000 a month in Facebook ads because that's what Guru X.
That's what I saw Rana do, and that's what I saw James do.
Yeah,
and
so I should do that.
Teaching me how to do that. And the answer is because we're dealing with thousands upon thousands of leads constantly all the time. What I love about this is that this is the foundations. You've written success as a system. We have a saying, systems equal sanity, because this is the foundational piece. I also just want to highlight some of the more stepping stones around this, because Rana's clearly the LinkedIn guy. He knows about that. Just before we were recording, which you could see Rana's brain going back, was that something we talked about during the recording or before the recording? Yeah. I'd said most people don't even need a website. They need a LinkedIn profile and something like B2B Dash. And that's all they need. But if I look at this from a transactional perspective, we started off with the idea of a target audience and the doctor on the plane test. You can do this on your own, or someone like Rana can help you with this, where it's very easy to be able to isolate these 1,000 people. I'll just...
keep going.
Engage the person. And that there, if you understand the target audience, you understand their headaches, their obstacles, their aspirations and desires, there will be door openers if you've got target audience clarity. A copywriter at the moment is probably obsessed with AI. You could use that to open the door. Then the next bit, and I'm pointing at my screen here, the next bit is if we see we're going to get 100 leads, 50 say yes, 50 say no, so it's 50 leads. You're going to need a tool to do that. And this is this magical moment where you get someone off LinkedIn and into your world. Because the funny thing about social media is that your ultimate goal is, believe it or not, to get your future customers and clients off social media. That's what it is. And we get them off the world. Well, we book a conversation. Once again, some sort of online tool like B2B Dash, we can have that conversation. And then it's super important because it then comes down to this idea of the offer, the pricing, the model, the process, all these different things.
And ultimately, like you nailed it too, James, like marketing is about opening up, right? And it's always going to be on a platform of some sort. Like originally, it's going to come from somewhere, even if that platform is a BNI group, right? There's a platform that you're going to have to find someone from. So opportunity, marketing is about opening up opportunity. And then to the right is sales. And sales is about closing down the opportunity. Like this is where you just look at it like one is on the platform, on something, open up an opportunity. I've got a client, I've got a lead, I've got something. And then you flip it to now that I've got it, it's opened up. I need to close it down. And it's the language we use in business all the time, right? Did you close that client? Did you close that deal? And if we can think about that opening and closing opportunity, it's kind of like a heartbeat, right? It works. And that's what makes your business actually stay alive, is the opening up and the closing of opportunities so you can get the revenue that you need to keep your business moving forward. And so if I was to start again, James, just to wrap it, bring it back, is that I would 100% use this thing called the telephone, email, and LinkedIn to find people who are my perfect future customers, find offers that make them say, do enough research to understand what they want, the problems they have, the possibilities that they're after, and say to them, look, here is something I think I could work with you on. Would you be open to a conversation? Have them say yes, have people say no, deal with the rejection, deal with the opportunity. Get people onto a conversation, qualify people to say, well, this is who I'm helping. This is how I'm doing it. Is this the now thing? Is this a later thing? Budget-wise, where are you at? Ask the hard questions and then show them how the process works and say, where do you want to go from here? And have people say, well, let's do something together. Ultimately, business is very simple. And if you can master the foundations, anything that you push on top of it, any strategy on top will only be an accelerant because you've got the basics. A database, a good offer, and a way to monetize. And you nailed it.
Database, good offer, way to monetize. Totally simplified. I also love the idea of the metrics here. We've got 1,000 in the bottom left-hand corner. That leads to 100 at the top. We split it up. We've got 50 down the right-hand side, convert it to 5 clients. And then we can rinse and repeat. We can rinse and repeat. We can improve bits. We can track our data, see which bits of the puzzle are working better. Than others. And ultimately, Runners Written systems equal success is a system. Weaver saying systems equal sanity. Then you just do it again and again and again. And each of those steps gets easier every time. And then sooner or later, you're making a little bit more money. So you pay someone else to do it. And then you're not doing that bit. I normally go.
We have this cheesy saying, right? And it's that if you want extraordinary results, you've got to master the ordinary. Because all extraordinary is just doing the ordinary extra well, right? And people say, like, the other saying is that simple doesn't mean easy. Like, it's easy to lift up a 2 kilo weight, but now if you have to do that 100 times, it's going to start getting really, really difficult. So you're right. As soon as you find what works simply and you get bored of it, because entrepreneurs just get bored of it and they want to screw everything up and start making it complicated just because it makes them more excited. Give it to someone else who can deal with the monotony of process-driven tasks. Get yourself out of it so you can be in strategy, which is where you want to be. And they're all the things that come later. But, get the basics dialed in first. And LinkedIn is an amazing place to start if it was me starting all over again.
Yeah. And if this was 10, 20 years ago and you wanted to start again, you would have to start hitting up networking events. You'd have to be cold calling. You'd have to be doing all these different things. And it's a complete nightmare. So I'm going to put Rana on the spot. If there's something that you could give our people that we could put as a link underneath this video so that people can end up in your world a little bit more about it. Is there something we can give away?
Look, I will put a link. All we do, James, is we run a 5-day challenge. It's live. People often ask me, why do you do it? It's because I just love helping people create high converting offers. I love working with people's businesses at the basic level. It doesn't necessarily, it's not the most efficient way or the most time consuming. Could I do an automated webinar? Yes. Could I do a pre-recorded VSL? Yes. Could I do a series of emails? Yes. But what I really love doing is working with people over a sort of an extended period of time to help them take the insight, turn them into actions, implement those insights and get outcomes so they can start to see the possibility that's in front of them. We run a 5-day challenge. I'll give you the link. It's free for us. It doesn't cost anything except an hour every day for 5 days. Mate, that would be the best place to start. I mean, otherwise, if I give information, most people don't need more information. Most people need more implementation, which is why I think moving people into action is the probably most valuable thing you could ever give someone. So that's what we do.
So I love that. A small commitment, 1 hour a day for 5 days. You've just spent half an hour listening to this or watching this, and it's an extremely valuable use of your time. And the reason why is because time is like money. If you use it well, it will compound. Now you've begun to understand, I hope, that what guys like Rainer and I do, and the technology and the systems that we do are actually not that complicated. They're very, very simple. I think business owners are very good at scaring themselves out of doing different things. I think it's going to be a lot harder than it is, or they overcomplicate it. But however, find that link under this video, and maybe you could spend 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day over 5 days, 5 total hours, so that the following week you can save 10 hours or 20 hours. And that is because, I don't know if you know this, Rainer, I was looking at a statistic, but the average knowledge professional, someone that sells knowledge or expertise, typically spend 2 to 3 days a week on business development, 40 to 60% of their time just trying to win the next gig. That's
correct.
Let's not do that. Let's do a little bit smarter. 1,000 people on LinkedIn leading to 100 conversations, 50 leads, 5 clients. Done. Tick, tick, tick. Done.
Boom.
Boom. Tick, boom. All right, Rainer, thank you so much for this rapid fire conversation. It's been so much fun. How to add an extra 8 to 12K a month, specifically if you're an expert and you needed to start again.
Yeah, mate. Great to be part of it, mate. Thanks for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.